And we have Pratibha joining us from very close to Bapatla, where the cyclone is expected to hit that particular area in the next hour or two. Pratibha, take us through what's happening there at the moment.
Well, in fact, the landfall is expected very close to Bapatla, and I'm about 50 to 60 kilometers away from Bapatla, which is the place where the landfall is expected. Anytime now between 1 and 2 p.m. is what the weather department officials were telling us. And already incessant rains have kind of damaged the paddy fields in and around this region. And as you can see, people have been carrying their crops and protecting them by storing them in the nearest mills possible, as well as godowns possible. At least around 60 to 70 packets being loaded into the tractor, each weighing at least around 30 kgs. Now that is the biggest challenge as per the district collector, because most of them from the low-lying areas have been shifted to the respective relief camps, around 64 in this district alone, which is the Krishna district, and around 8,000 people have been evacuated from the low-lying areas to the safer zones. And we have to assess the kind of potential damage that this cyclonic storm could cause. They are terming it as a severe cyclonic storm. And Andhra Pradesh, the good news is that it is prone to cyclonic storms, and people have been experienced in terms of handling the cyclonic storms. At this time, they did initially assume that the cyclonic storm wouldn't really cause that much damage. But going by the kind of havoc that it has wreaked in Tamil Nadu, they do not want to leave any kind of a stone unturned, and that is precisely why several of these precautionary measures are being undertaken. The preparedness of Andhra Pradesh needs to definitely be appreciated at this point in time. The NDRF teams as well as SDRF teams are on alert, and most of them are trying to gauge the kind of potential damage that the severe cyclonic storm could cause. Probably the impact of it would be felt after 2 hours post the landfall.
Right, we do know that a rain red alert warning has been issued for the state. The areas of concern include Nellore, Godavari, as well as Krishna district, Guntur district. We also know Kakinada. So all these areas are going to be in the grip of the storm. Take us through the kind of rainfall you've seen, say, since yesterday in the last 24 hours, because we do know the impact was felt in Chennai for about 48 hours as far as this weather system is concerned. How long before we can expect some sort of relief to the people of Andhra Pradesh, because the process has started, and of course it has to be very, very windy in the area. It has to be raining since the last few hours. Take us through what's been happening.
But it's not just the last few hours. Right since last evening, it has been incessant rains that has caused a lot of inundation in the low-lying areas, especially in places like Machilipatnam, which is one of the low-lying areas. But of course, one of the factors that could give us a sigh of relief is that Bapatla, which is the region where the landfall is expected, is definitely not in the low-lying area, and it has several rivers and streams connected to it. So most of them are expecting the rains to recede before it could actually cause any kind of inundation in regions around Bapatla. But of course, with the incessant rains, Machilipatnam is definitely in a region that has been severely affected with inundation. But a lot of NDRF teams as well as SDRF teams are working round the clock to ensure that traffic isn't disrupted. A lot of uprooting of trees that have been reported in several parts of Andhra Pradesh, including Nellore as well as Tirupati. The airports have been stranded in terms of the flights that have been called off, and the highway connecting Andhra Pradesh to Chennai have also been stalled for now, grinding to a halt. And all these teams have been put into action. Even tree cutters have been put into action so that the traffic isn't disrupted in other parts of Andhra Pradesh. Right now, what you see is paddy fields that have proven to be a bigger challenge here in and around Bapatla as well as Machilipatnam. All of these crops and all of these fields are submerged in water, and this particular field runs up to about 5 acres is what we are told, and most of them, the farmers as well as people from low income groups, are trying to ensure that the loss to property would be minimized by protecting their crops as well as their paddy, so that it could be stored in several other mills as well as godowns.
Pratibha, damage to standing crops, damage to orchards, damage to kacha and pakka huts as well as kacha and pakka roads, of course uprootment of trees. These are the certain kind of warnings that have been put out. Take us through when we talk about 3,000 people have already been shifted to relief centers. We know of 12,000 fishermen which have been shifted from the Krishna district to relief centers. How many relief centers have been set up in the state?
Totally what we hear is that over 180 relief centers have been set up in different parts of coastal Andhra, and in Krishna district alone around 64 relief camps are already functional. Food as well as water and medical facilities have all been arranged for them. Blankets that have also been provided so that all of them are brought to safety. Most of them in the low-lying areas have been shifted so far is what we hear, and around 150 millimeter rainfall has been recorded in regions like Machilipatnam. As we proceed towards Bapatla, well, of course, the rainfall would be recorded in terms of the rainfall in Bapatla. It now stands at over 250 millimeter, and gusty winds too, around 90 to 100 or 150 kilometers per hour is the speed that is expected, because the eye of the storm, that is the center of the cyclonic storm, has registered around the wind speed of 90 to 150 kilometers per hour. Anytime between 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. is when the landfall is expected. We'll have to wait and see the kind of preparedness of Andhra Pradesh and also the potential damage that the cyclonic storm could cause after. The assessment of it would be done only 2 hours post the landfall.